So let's go actually to the drum bus. Then we're gonna bypass the plugins on the drum bus here and then bring them back in. I'm sending all of the entire drums into some parallel chain here, which we're gonna go over. But the first on the in the chain is the VMS bypass. Sometimes I drive. Okay. And then so that's going to, I have the lift here, so just pushing some low end here, punchy, and then some shimmer here. So not really much going on. Next on the list is the Novatron fast release here, and then slow attack. Sidechain high pass filter is on. And then let's hear what this is doing. So the movement, this is compressing even more than I would normally do. And then I have NLS going in here, drive. Not much going on. I love the NLS and the mic. The mic will be more drastic in the low end side. So what I was trying to do, this was an update I made to my template too on the drum bus. I was looking for a tape plugin to put on at the end of each one of this, but then I decided to try the decapitator. So I'm actually driving using a lot of the drive, but I'm blending it to about maybe 15 to 20% here. So I'm going to bypass that. It's going to be subtle and you might not hear it, but since I'm only using a tiny bit in there. I mean, it's really not subtle too, right? You can hear how it's like just clamping. It's basically like compressing and controlling the transient, like, very, very well, especially on the snare drum and kick. So I can hear tightness just coming from that. So now going to the plugins I'm using for my parallel processing, I'm going to start with this one called the Drum Glue. I've always loved this plugin because each time I think of analog and I think of warmth, that we all try to get, this is part of those plugins that can give you that glue. Followed by that, I'm using EQ. So on this parallel processing, I'm also boosting about 60 hertz and then 5K as well for that top. So what you hear is a lot of weight. And when I mean weight, low end definition and tightness, it's also coming from this compressor to a lot. So let's just watch this fader right here. I'm gonna go in and out and bring it in. So it's bypass right now. All right, so that's where the compressed sound is coming from. That sounds really awesome, like the weight. And then of course I'm blending the return is around 15 dB. So the next one is what I call the Fatso. I inherited these names from people, I'm not even sure where, but so that one too as well. The compressor on there is the Fairchild. So Fatso, make it fat and smooth. And then following that, I'm using this by dry. It's basically I'm adding saturation. I love saturation on things. I use them subtly, and I use a lot of them too, to be honest, on different things. But here, little here and there goes a long way. Okay, so let's hear the before and after for this. I'm compressing a lot here as well. This is my punchy sound for the drums. This is where it's coming from. This parallel processing bypass. Yeah. Sounds crazy and nasty. You can hear the hi hats to the open hats too, really pumping up in volume. So those things that are low in there coming up as well. And I do spend some time on this and I listen and I ask myself, do I want this? What is it doing that I like? Um, Punchy. No movement. Now it's kind of dead. Let me bring it back in. And I'm using the constant time constant here too. One will be fast, it's gonna release it, but with this one, I'm getting so much of the compressor to still hold on to them sound. It's not back to zero before the next sound hits, like the kick and snare, and that's fine. That's increasing the sustain for me and giving me a more controlled drum sound all through. So the drive was just to add an additional saturation, but the goal was the compressor itself. And then there is one more here. This is called a drum crush. I This is probably, you can count it as is muted because I'm only using just a tiny bit of it. But here now is the cushion, right? Using the drive here, and this also has the compressor setting, which I'm compressing a lot. So let's hear it. So let me bypass the parallel processing and let's hear what the drum sounds like before and after.